So we know about our global assembly. We know that we can put our drag file into the global assembly when we have that file created as a release or debug. You can drag it in there. It's going to give us this information. We also know that we need to set up a folder here so we can get some reference in Visual Studio so we can easily reference our DLLs, and that's going to give us the ability to work with the code hinting and things like that. Now we also know that we have to work within our project here. We're going to just go up. See that we're within this project, Global Assembly Cache EX. What we need to do is create a SNK file, and that's going to be placed in our OBJ folder, our object folder, either in debug or release, whichever one you actually are going to be working with or producing. So the object folder, similar structure like you would with the bin directory or the debug area in that area as well, or the release area of that. And then you're going to create an SNK file and keep it there. So all you're doing with that SNK file is getting a DOS prompt here, command prompt. You're going to the folder. Doesn't matter where you go at this point, but we'll do it from the folder, the project folder. You just type in SN-K and then the file name that you want to create. We're just going to say test, but you could just create the file name to have the same name as the project, which is going to be the same as the DLL, which is going to be the same file that's in our assembly, as we're going to see. So we'll just do this as a test because I already did it. So we create the key pair. It's written to test.snk. And if we go back up, we'll see there it is. That's what we're going to add there. So if we go back to Visual Studio and we take a look and scroll down, you see that that's what we created there. So we place this file here. Now you have to put it into the OBJ folder and that release or debug. If you don't, then it's not going to be able to find that file. You're going to get some errors. So you might think that you need to put that into your project folder. Well, you don't. You need to put it into the OBJ, debug, or release, and then that's going to be all good for you. That's how that's going to work. So you can trust me on that one, but you can also figure out how it's going to happen as well. It's also letting you know that here about the directory structure. You can put in the additional path information if you want, the double backslashes, so that you can get a backslash, just like we said with the string formatting. So you do need to set up an environment variable. Again, we did mention this before we were working with the console application setup, the command line compiler. But you need to get to this directory here. It's going to be your C program files, a little bit tight here. Microsoft Visual Studio.NET 2003. Hopefully you have that SDK installed, and you should be working with the 1.1 version. Get that bin directory into your path. Semicolon separate it here and after anything else here. Shorten that path if you can, because it shouldn't be so long. You might run into problems. But that's what you need to have there so that SNK file could be found, the SN application sn.exe, so you can generate the SNK file, and also for the global utility, the global assembly cache utility that we're going to peek at. So add that to your path, as you can see, within your computer properties that you can get by right-clicking on My Computer. So that's set up and that's going to work. Then you're going to be able to debug this or compile it, whatever you want. And that's going to compile okay. And everything else is going to be set up quite nice for you. And you could also, after you generate that file, so generate the file for the same file name. And then after it lands here in this folder here, because that's the folder we're using, you need to just copy it into this folder here, which is going to match release or debug, as you can see here. Then it's going to be all good for you. Then it's going to compile correctly. So after you're done with that, after you get it compiled, you could just drag this into your global assembly cache. But the first thing you want to do is grab it and drag it here to my assemblies and overwrite whatever you have there. I've already done it, so I won't do it again. And then you drag this into your global assembly cache. And that's going to be all good for you. So you're all set with that. Now, additionally, you can run the global assembly utility, and you're going to specify -i and then that DLL that you want to add there. And if you do that, then that's going to add that as well. You just have to be in the proper directory. Currently we're not, so we'll get to that directory. And this is the directory that we want, so we'll just do a CD. Just like that, up arrow twice to get that command again. Global assembly cache util. And there we go. Assembly successfully added to the cache. And that's how you're going to add it there. More advanced things you can do with that as well, but that's how it gets in there. So we're all set. Now we can just use it, like I said, with a reference from our target, our client, test client. Now we can actually build this application. When we build it, and we can run this from the DOS prompt here. We just need to find it. A couple CDs back. We'll just call it this with the asterisk so we can find it. And it's compiled. You can also do the command line compiler as well. It's an easier way to do that if you want to. Or you can run it from the bin directory. And you can see we run a test hello. Just like that, it works for us. You can also do it from here as well. And it just converts it from lowercase to uppercase. You can browse that class library again as you want to.